We want to welcome you to Drury University for the 16U Gold Ball Showdown semifinal, where the CHSA Wolverines have just punched their ticket to the undisputed national title. This game determines who they will compete against tomorrow, as the Noah Jaguars take on the Blazers. Noah in the dark uniforms, Blazers in the light uniforms, and the Jaguars control the tip. Here's David Turner for three. That's a good start right there for the Jags. They want to get their All-American going early.
Look, Tulsa's got to be happy with the position of their program. We watched them last night compete in the 18U quarterfinals, and now you're watching 16U compete in the semifinals. So they got to be happy with how their program's performing on these upper age groups on the guys' side.
And for the Jags, Jordan Robbins has a lot of potential. He's been streaky in this tournament. If he can be consistent, I think that really makes them a threat, because he can have an impact with his size. Here's Wilson. Sorry, I say Wilson, but that was Jonathan Thomas with the miss. Up quickly to David Turner. And here's Robbins, the big man for three. Rims in and out, and Bo Wilson will get that for the Blazers. So in the last game, we saw a 1-3-1 zone from the Wolverines against the man-to-man defense. Here, both teams are going to play.
Yeah, right now, early, both teams are in man-to-man. So we'll get a feel for the style early, but it looks to be a pretty up-tempo rhythm early in the game. Too early to say who this is going to favor, but it looks like it's going to be pretty quick. They get some good looks early. So far, not a lot's fallen, but looks are there. Court seems open.
And I tell you what, Easton Woodcock is their All-American. He's usually the smallest player on the court, but he is a very heads-up player.
Well, look, he just finished over a guy who was about a foot taller than him, and what he did was he ate the space. He went into the defender's body, which then really minimized your ability to get a block shot. So he took away his space, even being a foot taller, probably maybe 18, 24 inches on a reach difference, and that's just a really, really heady play by Woodcock.
Great defense there by the Jaguars. And Alex Slagle will pick up a foul. I do think the Jaguars are going to have to pay attention to Slagle defensively. He is like the Energizer Bunny out there. I don't know if the kid gets tired.
Yeah, you can see he's getting already hands on the ball a lot. Just out there working, hustling on defense early. He's going to be a handful if they don't start taking care of the ball.
So into Bell to Robbins, and there's that size. He can't finish, but David Turner is blocked by Jonathan Thomas.
I don't have Robbins' listed height, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's 6'6", 6'7", and he's a pretty good force in the paint right now. He was dunking easily in warm-up, so they want to kind of keep him off the glass, and I think he may be a force on shot blocking, so he'll change some shots. We saw, obviously, what he did on Woodcock in transition there, but interesting to watch how this guy's going to affect the paint.
And good defense there by the Blazers to force the ball out of bounds. Ransdell took a minute to feel sorry for himself, but then he sprinted down the court, raised his hand and said, hey, my bad right there. Let me get it back here on defense.
Look, that's a team play. He understood it was him, on him, bring his teammates in, and he's like, heads up, let's get this win.
Dawson Bell went for it, but Coach Thomas wants to talk about something, so 2.5 into the game, he's going to take a timeout. We'll take it with him. We'll be right back. 4:26 to play. First period action here at Drury University, where the early three from David Turner is the difference in the game. Right out of the timeouts. And the Jags.
Slagle with a quick trigger.
And I watched him yesterday. He did not hit the three very well, but he is an impact player defensively. Dawson Bell cannot get that to go. And there is Jordan Robbins again.
Look, Robbins is active right now. I'm impressed. Honestly, watching the 18U Tulsa Noah Jaguars, I was kind of wondering if he could have helped that squad last night, as they didn't have a lot in the paint, and so far, his presence, he's looking pretty active in there. Let's see if he can finish this.
Got pushed a little bit there, but I like the no call.
Yeah, we've commented on the officiating several times. It is a little more physical than probably what we're used to, but it is consistent, and I think the officials are doing a nice job with the rhythm and tempo of this game.
So Slagle tripped, and I was waiting for Quan Young to show up. He was really a factor yesterday in the game against the MHEA Eagles. MHEA has a great guard in Caleb Mathis. Quan Young was able to keep Mathis in check defensively. And here's Turner for his second three of the game.
They're gonna have to stop giving him space. It looks like, you know, he's gonna knock those things down. He's gonna shoot it quick. So having knocked down two, you know, obviously get a hand up at this point. You do not want him getting hot.
You know, if for some reason you're unable to scout the team, which is hard to do now at the tournament with Baller TV around for all the games, but if for some reason you're unable to scout the team, giving up 1-3, fine. But once you know that guy can hit, now you got to start thinking he can hit consistently.
Well, sure, he's hit two now in the first quarter. Like, you know, even if he's not a shooter at this point, he's already feeling good. So, you know, shooting it. There's Woodcock again, eating the space, but Robbins, man, really smart play so far. Really impressed with his play right now. He has been a game changer in the paint.
Quan Young getting down the floor for
very athletic
quick
finish.
two.
Almost looked like he lost the ball in air and was able to put it back in and finish it off the glass.
And the Blazers are trying to find some rhythm somewhere offensively. It's Quan Young. He's so quick with his hands.
Yeah, that ball pressure is pretty tough right now.
Thomas, when you're playing pro ball and you're talking about defense, do you play palms up, trying to come up this way? Do you keep your hands out? How do they teach it in the pro
Yeah,
side?
palms up. The thing, probably the big difference is because the ball handling gets so good, you're really not trying to – it'd be very rare that you're going to pick a pocket like we saw Quan Young trying to do. It's more of containment, particularly if you've got a strong lead guard. You really want to keep him out of the paint. If that guard can get into the paint as an offensive player, you know, he can do a lot of damage. And so I played point guard. I guarded point guards. And so when I was guarding a really elite guard, my deal was stay in front, shade him to his weak side, and just contain. We do not want those guards getting in the lane. And so a reach or a gamble would honestly be a quick ticket to the bench if my offensive player got in the paint on me. So, man, you've got to contain your man, and that's the thing. If you've got a guard and a point guard, it is a risky game trying to pick the pocket because if you miss, you leave your other four defenders out to dry.
So would you say allowing a guard to go east-west is one thing, but not north-south?
Man, correct. You cannot let him go north-south. Let him play around side to side all you want, but if he starts getting in the lane, you got a quick ticket to the bench.
So a good defensive possession right there for the Blazers. Woodcock's got all 4 points.
Woodcock there, he gets in the lane, and bad things happen. Just like what we talked about. If the lead guard gets into the lane, the defense is in trouble. Guards are made to get into the paint and either score or kick out. That's what their MO, a good lead guard, so you got to protect the paint.
Dawson Bell from deep cannot get it to go, but there is not a shot that he does not like. He will shoot from all over. Another good rebound there. So 8-6, all really Jags 8 and Easton Woodcock 6.
Woodcock back in the lane. Man, again, Noah's going to have to figure out a way to protect the lane. They cannot allow him to get in so consistently.
And right now the Jaguars, wow, Dawson Bell, right in front of the official. Dawson Bell extended that left hand, and they let it go, and then that leads to a blocking call. And that foul is against Miller Wood. And the referee explaining to the coach he jumped in too late.
Yeah, that's a tough call. I think the defender was sliding as he came over. I'm not sure I agree with it, but that's part of the game. The refs are human too, and that happens sometimes. Overall, like we've mentioned before, I feel like the officiating has been consistent. It is maybe a little rougher game than what we're used to at the high school level, but it has been consistent by and large.
And another rebound by the Blazers. They are owning the glass. The Jaguars cannot get an offensive rebound, with Robbins on the bench, that is, which is where he is right now.
So, look, Woodcock's been in the lane 4 times. Tulsa's going to have to try to keep him out if he consistently gets in. Excellent move and spin back.
Man, that circled the rim and then circled out. That's a jump ball. Great job by Wilson there to, he missed the shot, but he stays there, plays hands up, able to get a tie-up to force the jump, and Jordan Robbins is going to check back in. Man, they lost Miller Wood.
Tulsa Noah fell asleep on the inbounds, got forced in the missed shot, but, lack of concentration.
Well, Robbins was going to check in, and now coach brings him back. And Miller Wood, another rebound. So Easton Woodcock, I've watched him a couple times this week.
So check it out. This is a horn set, CJ. You got 2 highs coming up for a high ball screen. He can pick and choose. You saw him call with a horn set similar to a longhorn. He has 2 bigs, the 4 and the 5 on either side. He can choose either side. He split off left. Defender gapped him, and he knocks down the open 30. That's tough to guard.
Well, it's been a good first quarter. The Jags lead the Blazers 10-9, and we'll be back in a minute for the second period action.
When my body needs relief, I real-time it. I'd like to introduce you to my knockout pain formula, real-time pain relief. It's soothing lotion, it's rich in nature's ingredients, and helps me manage discomfort day or night. And it smells great too. From muscle strains to soreness to simple back aches and arthritis. Real-time it and knock out your pain. It works for me and it will work for you. Real-time pain relief, it's a knockout.
Jaguars lead the Blazers. 16U, gold ball showdown semifinal. And even though the Blazers are losing, it feels like they're in charge. The Jaguars cannot find rhythm at the moment. Ransdale's back on the court. Jordan Robbins is back on the court. That's a block and deflected out of bounds. Back to the Blazers, where I say it's 10-9 Blazers, but it's really Jaguars 10, Easton Woodcock 9.
Yeah, this guy, man, he's had a hot start this game. They're going to have to find an answer for him, particularly in the lane. Every time he's gotten in there, he's scored, gotten good shots. What a finish by Coffey.
Typically, you would go with the left hand on that, and Jordan Robbins, I think, would have blocked it with the left hand. He went with the right hand.
Yeah, again, they got into his body, and they're eliminating Robbins' ability to block shots by simply eating the space. So, Robbins is 6'7", so with long arms, so they're going to have to do something. And right now, they're doing a good job finishing right into his body, not trying to go over the top of him.
So, Jonathan Thomas with a big finish right there. When you say eating space, what does that mean?
So look, a shot blocker has to time it. He's got to come in and see how they watch your footwork of the guard. So anytime you allow the big man space to kind of read your feet, he can go up and get the ball. But when a guard comes and first tries to go at his body instead of the rim, you can take away his ability to read your shot. So when a guard comes in the lane, he doesn't want to start looking at the rim. When there's a shot blocker, he needs to find the shot blocker, go to his body first, take away his space, take the contact, and then finish around the outside. And that's what Woodcock has done on 2 separate occasions, and then we just saw him do it again on this end. So they're eliminating his ability to block shots by going into his body first as opposed to going to the rim. It's a high-level skill set. You see guards in the NBA, Chris Paul particularly does this very, very well. He doesn't try to go over the 7-footers. He simply goes into the body, eliminates the space, and then can finish around the outside. Big-time move.
Jack Ransdell drew the foul against Bo Wilson and then knocks down both free throws. And so the Jaguars had led the whole game, 4-0 run coming out of the break for the Blazers to take the lead. They maintain a 1-point lead. And
so look, I think Easton Woodcock thought that was a 2-3 zone. He called for a high post offense. It appeared as such. The problem was I think they were actually in man, which caused that turnover. They were trying to get the ball to the corner back into the high post, and I think he just misread their defense on that play.
The first mistake, really, for Easton Woodcock in this game.
Yeah, that's right. He's been really sharp early.
And here's Turner. He's got 2 threes, misses that one. And fans clamoring for something. I'm not sure what it was. But there's that 2-3 defense you were talking about.
Yeah, and it is. It's tricky. So now they may be in, from watching, I think they might be in a man on make and 2-3 on a miss. And that's an early analysis. I want to watch this a little bit more, but they're certainly switching up defenses.
Jonathan Thomas kind of hopped with 2 feet before he put the ball down and got called for the travel.
And you'll see coaches do that sometimes. They'll switch up defenses simply to throw a little confusion for the offense. And that may be what Tulsa's doing. It may be 2-3 zone on make and man-to-man on miss. We'll watch that and see if that's actually playing out. But I know they've switched several times already here in the second quarter.
Quan Young with a good move, but he
got away with the travel there in the lane. So Quan Young got the benefit of a couple missed calls early.
I think
that's part of the game.
Yeah.
That's part of the game.
And maybe Daniel Coffey, I think. I saw a 3 go up, so he's the only one with 3. I'm going to give that to Daniel Coffey. Unofficial book over here as Jordan Robbins knocks down the free throw to tie the game. We had, when you and I played together, we did a similar thing, man on miss, 2-3 on make at times. We didn't do it all the time. What did we call? I can't even remember what we called that when we did that.
Maybe I think that sometimes you hear the word fire is what you'll call it when you're switching defense like this. Is a word that sometimes coaches use. Obviously, it's a deception play, so you don't want it to be something that they're going to recognize. But it can be quite effective, particularly early in the game when a team's trying to find their rhythm of how they're going to guard it, because the offenses vary depending on if you're a man offense or a zone offense. And so if the coach is not super astute, there can be a lot of confusion for the offense. Hey, this play's not working or this set's not working. Well, that's because they're very different defenses. So you'll see some coaches do this sometimes. You normally see that drop later in the game. You oftentimes see it in the first half. And then a coach will go back to the defense that he trusts, and you'll notice these teams both start in man-to-man coverage. I would be very surprised if they didn't end up with that on both sides coming to third and fourth quarter.
Barron Wilson drew the foul against Jordan Robbins. That's number 2 on Robbins, and Wilson hits both free throws. Back and forth game here.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. Tempo's high, shots are going down. I don't know who has the advantage right now. It's gonna be pretty tight.
Robbins looked at the three. He took one earlier. He can shoot it from out there. Quan Young, just the everywhere guy.
Yeah, tough finish. Got his own rebound, put it back in. Could have had an and one on that as well, so really strong finish.
Incredible elevation there. Jonathan Thomas comes back with an answer for two more.
So Woodcock started out early and has gotten some help now, and now got this game really tight.
And I would say on championship level teams, balance in your scoring is what you're looking for.
Has to be. Basketball is such a team game. You cannot have one guy take the brunt of every game. They're going to start scouting him. They'll figure out a way, particularly at Easton Woodcock. He's not a big player, right? So it's good for him to get going early, but ultimately he is going to need some help, and fortunately for him, his teammates have delivered.
So Easton Woodcock, in the couple games that I have called for the Blazers this week, has not really gotten going till the fourth quarter, and it's been necessary, and it's helped them win. But he's doing everything today. I think Barron Wilson should have taken that shot.
Yeah, he had a good look.
Dawson Bell trying to get himself going, and the big man gets blocked. 1-on-3, pulled out, wise decision. Almost lost it though. 2-3 defense again, just like we talked about. Back and forth, man to zone, man to zone.
So there it is, Robbins using his big body, just causing distraction, presence in the paint. That's a tough finish for Woodcock. So, I mean, he's made a couple of them early, but, that's a big size discrepancy there. So it might have to start looking to get in the paint and start kicking it out a little bit as the game progresses.
Coach Bell for the Jags imploring the officials to call foul on the Blazers against Robbins. And I'm not sure it's going to work. He's been doing that all week.
So look at Robbins right now. He needs to be fighting for position hard. So right there you see one, but as big as he is in his presence, he's going to go over on ball side. He's got to battle for his spot early. Right now he's drifting out the three-point line. A guy his size needs to be getting in the paint and fighting for position early. He's too big in this game to not be battling harder in there. So he's obviously made his presence known. But I would like, if I was coaching Tulsa Noah, I would say, man, you got to get in there, get your position early, and demand the ball.
And I think right there, Ransdell turned it over. And part of it is when he made that initial drive, Easton Woodcock, great defensive position to slide over as he just knocks it down. That's that horn set you were talking about.
That horn set is too high. And if Tulsa Noah doesn't come up with that lower defender, he can run that play all day long. I would go back to horn and see how they guard it, because right now he has 5 points, 2 for 2 on that same set.
Barron Wilson tried to corral Dawson Bell on the drive, and he gets called for the foul. I think they just got confused right there. That ball should have been Jordan Robbins for the easy two.
So in transition,
and there's Quan Young.
Quan Young's very active. You can see he's got a lot of athleticism. He's speed. He's really causing impact on defensive and offensive end right now.
He's just super quick. I'd probably describe him as twitchy.
A little bit, yeah. Once he gets control of his speed, he can be a very dangerous weapon on this team.
I tell you what, the Jaguars, very physical on the offensive side. A lot of pushing off. Not necessarily saying that it's offensive fouls, but they're not hesitant to put two hands on a guy offensively to get space.
No, and they've kind of established the rhythm that these refs are allowed to play. So they're, right now we have 5 fouls and 3 fouls almost into the half. So it's not like they're calling it super tight. I would let them play. They're going to keep the guy out of the paint, and particularly when they're guarding Woodcock, who's a smaller player. If the refs are going to let him body, then they need to keep doing it.
Here, oh man, they left Bell wide open. He cannot finish. Robbins cannot finish. Hernison could not finish. Multiple offensive rebounds. And they're going to call foul against Barron Wilson. The down official deferred to the up official.
Yeah, that's a tough call. That's a loose ball foul. You don't see that call often. I didn't have the vantage point that the referee had there, but from here, it looked like it was just part of the contact of the game at that point. So, obviously, coach for the Blazers not real happy about that one.
So the Jags have an inbound set where they throw it to Robbins for a quick 2, and they haven't utilized him on that.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be a nice weapon. He's several inches taller than anybody on the court. Would seem like it'd be a good option. So Woodcock's got the ball here. 5 seconds. Let's see if he's got a play up his sleeve.
Oh, good dribble by Woodcock to keep it. Are you
and
kidding?
There it is. You see Woodcock
Wow.
back to back. Man, he is tough. He gets in the lane. We've talked about it earlier. He ate the space of the defender, got into his body first and finished. He probably does that intuitively as a smaller player. Beautiful finish.
And with those 2 points, Woodcock now has, I've got him for 13 points in the first half to give the Blazers the 23-16 lead. And we'll be back for the second half in just a few minutes. C.J. Pomeroy and Thomas Sanders back for the second half as the Tulsa Jaguars take on the Bluegrass Blazers. The Blazers have been here for a long time and got an opportunity now to play for an undisputed national championship if they can protect this 7-point lead, really led by Easton Woodcock in both how he's directed the offense and his ability to score.
Yeah, he had a great first half. And from all sides, he had a pull-up three-point off the horn set, then a jump shot at the elbow, and then 4 tough finishes. Beautiful pass and finish by Tulsa Noah. That's a great start for them in the second half.
Man, I saw Dawson Bell out there at halftime. As soon as the horn went off, he got a ball and started shooting because he knows he's got to be able to make some buckets here in the second half. Ransdell active on the defensive end, but they lose Jonathan Thomas.
So back-to-back possessions, backdoor cuts into layups for both programs. So, yeah, they've got to have baseline help on that backside. There's got to be a rim protector at all times. That one, Robbins was simply late on his rotation. He's got to get there earlier to help his teammates out if they're going to be pressuring the ball on the perimeter like that. That's frustrating as a player. If you're Jack Ransdell, you've done your job out here to contain, cause some problems, and then the back door. That's right, because you're pressuring the ball, you're denying the pass, and then you're expecting to have help in the paint on that backdoor cut, and it just simply wasn't there. And that's got to be Robbins covering that rim.
And it looks like they got Alex Slagle for the foul, number 2 for Slagle.
You know, CJ, we were talking earlier, I think in the last game, about just some of these kids wanting to play on in college. And it's not that the abilities are not there for a lot of these guys. They have the skill sets, the size, the shot, but some of it is understanding the execution level that, like, hey, that's the make or break stuff in games that you can't, that are just intangibles you can choose to do. So in that case, Robbins has got to be earlier on the rotation, understand the value of that, because you're giving up free buckets in a low scoring game. Cannot happen.
And Dawson Bell got his shooting self right because he's got 5 points now in the second.
And it's interesting, Dawson Bell, so had a slow first half, and he's got 5 quick points here. Now, I want y'all to notice something on the defensive end. Watch how engaged he is on the defensive end now. Now, as a player, you hope that you can engage defensively even when shots are not going down, but it's funny how quickly that you kind of get locked in once you get a bucket or 2 behind you. So yes, he's scoring on offense, but I want you to watch the next possession down. He is all over Thomas on the defensive end, and you can see his energy is up, and he's really engaged right now. So gonna be a good catalyst for him watching a shot or 2 go through.
So Easton Woodcock again knocking down 2 more free throws. Dawson Bell knifing his way through, can't get it to go. And Woodcock is going to attack. He dribbled a little bit off his foot there. Strong with the ball, and timeout called by the Blazers. Thomas, in this 30-second timeout, we normally go to our sponsors, but you are one of our sponsors. So tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing at Deer Creek Camp with your rock basketball camp.
Look, this was a ministry that we felt, a calling, I would say, the brothers and I, myself, Jesse, John Cale, my brother-in-law, Steve, 5-6 years ago, to use basketball as a tool to reach kids for the gospel. So we know that kids love playing sports. That's why you're here. That's why basketball is a tool for us. We love the game. We still love the game, but it goes beyond that. So we saw this opportunity at Deer Creek Camp to add a basketball component. That's our background. So that's what we're doing. We're saying, hey, let's partner basketball teaching and instruction. Kids love that. We love that. With outdoor adventure. And then finally, the most important, biblical teaching. So if we can partner those 3 things together, we consider that a successful week that allows God to work in a powerful way.
And we talked a little bit about this last night, but you guys are teaching some high-level basketball in your camp too, right?
Yeah, CJ, look, we're not a team camp. We're not teaching team offenses and defenses. We're trying to help that player who wants to get from maybe a 6-man to a starting role by teaching simply footwork and one-on-one skill development. So you don't come to the Rock basketball to get shot reps up. You come to get footwork and high-level instruction that they teach at a collegiate and professional level. And so the stuff that we learned as professionals, I worked out with Milwaukee Bucks, Indiana Pacers in 2008, 2009, NBA Summer League. And this is the kind of instruction that we're now tearing down and teaching to kids who are 12, 13, 14 years old, because if they get the basics now, they can excel when they get to the high school and collegiate level, and that's our heartbeat on this thing.
And you guys are pretty well connected. I know Jesse and I were at regionals, and former NBA guy was there talking with him, and so you guys are connected with players that can continue to help you guys really bring a high-level product. And then again, as Dawson Bell gets his...
Yeah, I mean, that's a blessing of a network of playing it at a certain level. One of my close friends is a current NBA player. Jesse has a couple who are as well. And so network of guys who you may see at the Rock this summer will include some current and former NBA players, as well as Division I and other levels of collegiate basketball. So the coaches that we bring in will be very, very qualified. You'll see Division I, Division II, NAIA coaches helping assist us this summer. And so our heart is to build a high level of not only a skill training, but also a network that can help players move on to the next level.
And timeout going to be taken right there. Daniel Coffey came down and got a quick bucket. We'll take the timeout with him and be back after this. .331 to go. 29-23. The Blazers lead the Tulsa Noah Jaguars. Dawson Bell has been phenomenal for the Jaguars in this quarter. Turnover there, though, by Cole Hernison. And Woodcock can't finish. Robbins, man, from our angle, Robbins had a block. From the down official, that was a foul.
Yeah, Tulsa Noah's not going to like that call. Again, we've talked about it. The refs are not perfect. They're doing a good job, but there are going to be some calls that maybe are questionable.
So Jonathan Thomas has 8 points on the game, going for number 9, and it'll rim out. Thomas, something I feel like my belief is that, you know, when you watch the pro game, it sometimes looks like they don't have fundamentals. But in reality, I think the pros are extremely fundamental.
Yeah, what it is, particularly those lead guards that you see, and even some of the low post players, the footwork is so consistent and so smooth. It's made to look easy, but make no mistake, these guys understand angles. They understand footwork. And so you watch a guy, I think of like a James Harden, who's not the fastest guy in the league, but you watch how consistently he breaks guys down, and it's not on speed, but it's on body control, it's on angles, it's on footwork. So, man, when you kind of understand how the game is played from your feet up, it gets a lot easier to move, and so speed is a factor, but it's not the only factor.
And this is what I've been looking for from the Jaguars. The baseline out of bounds to Robbins. He doesn't finish there, but I think they need to do more of that. What a
pass by Easton. Then there's Robbins defensively. That's what we need to see from him. Tulsa's going to love that play.
Robbins is just, that was just pure, let me show you how this is done.
Yeah, they just used the size and just said, this is my lane.
Jonathan Thomas going to work against Dawson Bell. Nice little baby hook right there. And, I like the idea that Thomas had trying to go for that steal, but he came down really hard trying to knock that ball loose. I think if he may not have gone so hard, he would have been okay, but
it's hard. You know, this is a semifinal game. Energy's high, emotions are up, so it's like controlling that and harnessing that in a game this size is a challenge for players.
And yeah,
it's a good call.
Yeah, Ransdell lost the ball as he was driving, and then his body just his momentum took him into the defender.
A little bit out of control, and the Blazers capitalized on it. Way to sacrifice your body for a team's possession.
I think this is a crucial period, the next 2 minutes for the Jaguars, as Woodcock hits again. Third time he's made a bucket over Robbins.
You know, CJ, we talked about that charge. I remember playing with you. You were, I'm sure, led our team in charges back when we were playing HCA. It's a real skill set, A, to be able to position yourself that way, and then B, to sacrifice your body. Something I remember you doing a lot. Is that something that you would practice on or watch, or kind of talk about that for a minute?
I wanted to play. And, we had a lot of really great offensive players. And even though I felt like I could contribute offensively, that wasn't my role. And when I accepted my role and figured out I just needed to work on my defense, that's really where I just wanted to be on the court. You know, I wanted to play with you, and I wanted to be in those big moments that we got to play in and Jaguars going to take a timeout after that bucket by Jonathan Thomas.
But you're hitting on something that is like the elite teams, the teams that win. Guys understand their roles in the position, and so like ultimately to be a champion, you need guys in all roles, right? And so that's something I remember that you did just so well defensively, understanding like time and space and the willingness and ability to kind of make those decisions are what make championship teams championship.
Well, we talked about angles offensively when you have the guard. And I think that footwork is just as important on defense. Mm-hmm. You got to be light on your feet. You have to stay on the balls of your feet. You can't get caught in your heels. A little bit of anticipation.
Sure.
One of the things I would teach my players is if you're going to force a guy left, right, weak side.
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna play his right side probably a little bit strong. Force him left. Well, you know if he's going to go left, your job is now to make him turn. So you know right away you've got to get about 2 or 3 steps ahead of him, and you got to jump him quick to get on his left shoulder to force him back to the right.
The anticipation.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like knowing and reading bodies and how you get the angles to defend. Even if you're not maybe as fast or as athletic, it's like if you can understand the angle and beat him to the spot, it's a game of angles and position.
And like you mentioned last night, it's not necessarily – as a player that you've got to get a steal. It's really contained. Dawson Bell, hot hand here in the quarter. That is 10 points for him.
And they needed that. That game was getting out of hand. Big-time shot for Dawson Bell. Hopefully that gets him going a little bit. He had a slow first half, but has now put, I believe, 8 points this quarter. 10 points this quarter.
And I like this matchup, Quan Young against Easton Woodcock. I think that's a great matchup. They've got to switch that back.
So look at that. They gapped him. So Easton Woodcock missed an opportunity. Robbins backed off, did not shoot. But, hey, it works out. Feeds the big man, and there's a tough finish.
That is 7 points for Jonathan Thomas in this quarter.
So there, Robbins needs to fight for position right there low.
And Jonathan Thomas knew that Quan Young was not going to shoot. So the drive came, but again, Thomas goes down with the arm instead of staying high.
Yeah, it's funny. I just saw the ref put a hand check low because the block looked clean to the Blazers, and I saw the ref say we didn't hit the foul on the arms. It was actually a hand check low on the body, which caused him to fall, is what the official just said. So to those who may be watching, it wasn't that they called the foul on the block. It was actually a push in the body below. I didn't have the angle to see it. The block looked clean, but I just saw the Blazers coach asking about this, and the official just simply saying, yeah, you can't hip check him when he's in the air, which is true.
Something that I would teach my players is show the official your hands.
Yeah.
You know, when the drives happen, show the refs your hand so he doesn't mistaken that little hip check as they're driving.
Well, because all the attention's on the ball and where it's at, but people are not looking below. And so you're right. If you can draw the official's attention up high, all of a sudden it simplifies what they're having to watch, and you may not get a cheap foul call.
28 seconds to go. You really want to go into the fourth quarter down single digits, not double digits.
Beautiful pass. Oh, Robbins would like to have that one back.
That was a big miss right there. And he's frustrated, but they got to play defense. You do not want Woodcock to extend the lead going into the fourth. Wow, what a finish.
Big shot after big shot. Man, he's tough in the paint. He has had 10 points in the paint, and he is the smallest player on the floor. Gotta love that.
38-26, the Blazers 1 quarter away from playing for the undisputed national championship tomorrow against CHSA. We'll be back in a minute for the exciting fourth quarter finish. Drury University is the site of the Gold Ball Showdown semifinal between the Tulsa Noah Jaguars and the Bluegrass Blazers, formerly known as the Kentucky Blazers, and a high zone being played, and they left the free throw line open, and Wood cannot connect. That's a dangerous. That's a risky defense, I feel like, right now.
Yeah, you're opening up the paint too late in the game. They've got to pack this thing in. Particularly, Tulsa has not hit a bunch of three-pointers right now, so I just don't understand, why you're going to have to do that right now.
Dawson Bell had a great third period. Great third period. 10 points for Bell, and they're going to need him.
Look,
as they're down 12.
Tulsa's going to have to start playing with some urgency on defense. They've had 26 points on the game, down 12, 6.5 to play. So you're seeing them go to a press. So they're going to try to speed this game up a little bit, force some turnovers, which right there is exactly what they wanted to happen.
Yep. Miller Wood was out of bounds.
So forced turnover for Tulsa. This is kind of the tempo they're going to have to get to now. It doesn't appear that they're an up-tempo team, but they're going to have to push this rate a little bit now, being down 12 in the fourth.
I would have liked to see the ball go middle on that press break. It went wing. Here's David Turner. He's got 2 threes. Oh, wow. Jonathan Thomas, great defensive effort right there. And Dawson Bell is going to get a foul from behind. His first. Team fourth. And
look, the players got to play through. You hear a buzzer, doesn't mean the game stops. You play through the whistle. There's some confusion there because they inbounded the ball, the buzzer went off, and all the players stopped. Lesson for young players. You play for the whistle, not for the buzzer. The buzzer is simply for the stands and to notify the officials, but the officials control the game. You play for the whistle. There was no whistle. The Blazers could have had an easy basket had they capitalized. There was about a 5-second pause as Tulsa was confused. Note to young players, listen for the whistle, not for the buzz.
And here, if you're at the national tournament, especially at multi-court facilities, make the referee stop you because there's a lot of whistles.
That's right.
Dawson Bell for 3. Great decision, I think, right there.
Look, that's a good look. He's hit 2 of them this half. They're going to need some of those to go down to climb back in this game. You'll see they're in a diamond press, so you'll see Dawson's up front. You've got 3 across half court, and you got a back safety. It's a common press, a zone press. You'll probably see them fall back into a 1-3-1 zone. It's natural when you're in a diamond and 1 press.
And Jonathan Thomas.
So that's the risk you run by pressing out. You leave the goal exposed. So it's a risk they have to take being down on the 4th, but you do leave exposure around the rim for a turnover basket.
Ransdell, that is a big, big 3.
Buried that from about 25 feet out. Needed that. You'll see a diamond press again. Dawson Bell at the front. Good.
Yeah, when you have Quan Young on a wing, wow.
Yeah, it's rotations, and he did it beautifully. They've had 2 steals already. Tempo's rising. This is what Tulsa needs to do to climb back.
Stepped out of bounds is David Turner. I have yet to see a middle flash on this press break.
No, that's right. So the Blazers, you're going to watch this, guys. The Blazers are trying to beat this thing by dribbling up the side. Right now they have 2 turnovers on it. They're going to have to adjust their press break. Expect the Blazers, to what CJ was saying, to send an offensive player to the midcourt to relieve some of the pressure on the point guard. They're going to have to get the ball to middle court to beat this thing, and then they'll have a 3-on-2 fast break if they can get the ball to center court.
So timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them with 4:48 to go. Tulsa came out in a press in the 4th quarter, led to 2 turnovers. They've only been able to get back 1 point. And now Tulsa has gone to more of a half-court press as opposed to full court. I'm surprised because they forced the timeout with the full court press. I don't know why they would go back to a half court. Plenty of time in the game.
Well, now they've dropped to a 1-3-1 zone. That should never happen in a 1-3-1. The rim protector cannot allow that pass to go in. They're going to dice this if that pass is there consistently. 1-3-1, you've got to protect the paint. You're giving up your corners is what you're kind of forcing the offense to look at. Robbins with a quick trigger.
That pass was pinpoint because that was over Jonathan Robbins.
Quan Young again continues to cause havoc on the defensive end. A lot of energy, a lot of length.
I don't know how old Quan Young is. If he is an underclassman, freshman, sophomore, he's going to be a special player.
Yeah, he's got a lot of athletic ability, moves well. We talked on it earlier. He's got to learn to control his speed a little bit, but he's got the tools certainly.
And great decision by Barron Wilson to give that up. And then both Wilson and Coffey going for the offensive rebound. A lot of times you're up 13. Some teams will say, let's kill clock. But the problem is, for me, you take your team. Wow. No good.
No call.
No call there. You're happy if you're the Jaguars. And
Man,
no call again.
They're letting Tulsa beat up on Woodcock right now. If I was the Blazers coach, I'd be pretty upset with what just happened. He got put to the ground twice. Officials got to protect that player.
And the assistant coach is saying something.
Yeah, you can see that. I mean, you don't want to see that. That's a lot of contact on your ball handler. And if I was the coach, I'd be saying the same thing right now.
And now both coaches are talking to each other.
Yeah, look, this is a national semifinal game. Like, obviously, energy's high and emotions can flare.
Ransdell for 3, no good.
You don't need that right now. You still have 3.5 minutes to play. Move the ball.
And they're going to get Jonathan Thomas for a foul.
Loose ball foul, and Jonathan Thomas on a clear out beneath the rim.
I think it's on Thomas. If it is, it's his third. Man, the officiating has just changed. Like,
yeah. You know, they're trying to get control back of this game. Some questionable, maybe no calls a second ago, and now they're trying to tighten this thing back up. You see this often in fourth quarters, just refs kind of adjusting to the rhythm as the players have kind of taken control of this thing now.
If you're the Blazers, I feel like you still need to run your offense and still be aggressive. I don't think you need to slow this down. I think you try and continue your rhythm.
Yeah, you run a risk. They've gotten up this way. They've gotten up 10 playing their style. So if you start trying to air it out with 3 minutes, there's a risk on turnovers and letting Tulsa claw back in this game with another bucket getting the single digits. So I would agree, CJ. I think that these guys need to continue to run their offense.
And the physicality that Jaguars are playing on Woodcock is just increased significantly.
Yeah. And the refs right now are not protecting him. So he may have to adjust and get the ball out of his hands and just kind of play off his teammates a little bit at the moment.
And there's Coffey low. He freed up. Good job staying composed. And Turner rips it away.
So there it is. You see the Blazers trying to air it out, ends up in a turnover. This is the risk you run if you're going to change your offense in the last 3 minutes.
And so here comes Bell.
It's a huge possession for Tulsa.
Quan Young gets the floater.
Okay, single digits, and Tulsa takes a timeout. Listen, if you're the Blazers, you got to be careful changing your entire rhythm. You built your lead based on your style and controlling the game. Now trying to air the ball out, it comes at a cost sometimes.
So 30-second timeout. We'll take one with them so you can hear from our other sponsors at the 31st Annual NCHBC Tournament. The Noah Jaguars started the quarter down 12 points. The pressure and physicality has greatly increased. They're back to their full court press. And I like this matchup, and they're going to get
Quan Young on the foul. Yeah, so they're obviously riding Woodcock pretty hard right now. That's the first foul they've called him on the body. If they're going to allow Quan Young, he's probably got 6 inches and 50 pounds on Woodcock. If they're going to let him play, that's going to be a tough matchup.
I like the play by Woodcock going into Young.
Yeah, look at that.
Uh-oh. No.
So Quan Young with an open court steal and finish. So this is what we talked about. Now momentum is starting to shift away. Blazers change style, airing it out, and there it is again. You see Tulsa's back in this thing.
Nobody is helping Easton Woodcock out. Nobody's calling for the guy behind Bell. That would have been just enormous. Good move by David Turner.
So basketball is a game of momentum, and momentum has now shifted. A 4-point game, a minute and a half to play.
And Woodcock's going to go to the line to shoot a critical 1-and-1.
So look, this kid's got, we've watched it in the paint, and I'm watching him now handle the ball. He's got a really unique skill set, probably just innate because he's small. He's learned how to do this. But watch how well he goes and takes the space of his defender. He does it at the rim, and right there you saw him do it in the open court. the defender had a beat. He didn't try to get to a spot. He simply dribbled into the defender and then forced the foul from it. So really, really an intuitive ball handler.
20 points now for Easton Woodcock. We talked about this at the break. No middle flash on this press for the Blazers.
No, and they're consistently having Woodcock essentially try to beat the thing one-on-one, and if the refs aren't going to call the open court foul, it's going to put them in a really difficult situation.
1 minute to play, 6-point deficit.
That would have been a huge shot.
Robbins 0 for 3 from the game. And now Bo Wilson, who's been quiet all game. Good ball movement.
There is the play we've been looking for. Got the ball to center court, broke the press, and got a transition layup. That's what the Blazers need to go do against this diamond press.
That just changed, feel like everything.
Yeah, momentum shifter.
Because the Blazers had struggled against that press. Multiple turnovers.
They hit Woodcock to Thomas in the middle. Thomas takes it, dishes it off to the right block, and then there you got to finish, and now you're back to an 8-point lead at the free throw line with your best player, and he knocks it down. So
he's been perfect. 7 of 7 from the free throw line. So, Thomas, you know my dad, and he would always tell us, he was an assistant coach on our team. He coached with me at CHSM and consistently would say 2 things: free throws and layups win ball games.
That's right. That's right. If you can knock down, make your layups, you can uncontest the layups and knock down your free throws, you give yourself a chance every game.
So timeout on the court. We'll take it with him. The Blazers are 39.9 seconds away from achieving the ultimate goal at the national tournament, which is the undisputed national championship game and another charge against Ransdell. 2 charges now against Ransdell. Well, I say it's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is winning it.
Getting there, obviously, step one. And look, they've earned this one. Are earning this one. They've played hard. They've played composed. It's been an impressive game.
Again, Quan Young, he is as impressive a defensive player as I have seen in this tournament, varsity or JV.
Yeah, he's very, very active. He's good on anticipation, quick feet. He's a handful. So
the adjustment the Blazers made was to bring 3 guys up on that press break, flashing. And Quan Young picks up the foul to send Easton Woodcock to the line, who's got 21. He's been perfect from the free throw line.
Yeah, strategically on that press break, you would still like to see a flash to the middle, but what we're seeing here is they trust Easton Woodcock with the ball so much that they're going to let him try to dice it himself. He's a fantastic ball handler, and right now it's working. They're fouling him. But typically you would want to beat this thing from the middle of the court, not having your ball handler work his way up the court, 1-on-2.
Well, this is big for the Bluegrass Blazers. They're going to the undisputed national championship game. And we're going to see a clash of styles, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. They'll be playing CHSM out of Pearland, Texas. And
CHSA. I wish they were playing CHSM.
CHSA out of Pearland, Texas, the Wolverines. And CJ, you're right. The Wolverines play such an up-tempo style, and they're going to push the ball. We saw just kind of how athletic and fast they were just the game before. And then the Blazers are going to come in with a little more composure. And obviously Easton Woodcock controlling the tempo. It should be a really fascinating matchup tomorrow afternoon.
Well, Thomas, this has been fun as Dawson Bell tries to finish it. And he can't.
And look, Tulsa Noah has nothing to hang their heads
No,
on. They played
no.
hard. They battled. It was a good game. And I would say this thing was closer than what the score indicates. 13-point was not. This game was closer than that. They had it down to 4 with 2 minutes. Well played on both sides.
And the foundation that the Jaguars have with Quan Young, Jordan Robbins, David Turner, Dawson Bell, they're going to be a good team for a few more years.
They got a bright future. You're right.
So congratulations to both teams for getting here, winning their gold ball, and congratulations to the Bluegrass Blazers. You are going to the undisputed national title game to take on the CHSA Wolverines. For Thomas Sanders, I'm CJ Pomeroy. We'll see you later.